All right, buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into the one financial tip that billionaires have been keeping under wraps. You know, those ultra wealthy individuals who seem to have it all figured out? Well, they've got a secret, and it's time we spilled the beans. Here's the deal: the ultra rich aren't relying on some mystical investment strategy or a crystal ball to predict market trends. Nope, their secret weapon is much simpler and more accessible than you might think. Are you ready for it? The one financial tip billionaires don't want you to know is this: they don't pay income tax like the rest of us. Now, before you start thinking they're breaking the law, let me clarify. These billionaires are using perfectly legal methods to minimize their tax burden. They're not evading taxes, they're avoiding them. And there's a big difference. So, how do they do it? Well, it all comes down to how they structure their wealth. Instead of relying on a regular salary like most of us, billionaires tend to keep their money tied up in assets like stocks, real estate, and businesses. These assets can grow in value year after year without being taxed until they're sold. And here's the kicker: many billionaires never sell these assets. Instead, they borrow against them. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're Jeff Bezos. Wouldn't that be nice? You own a ton of Amazon stock, which keeps growing in value. Instead of selling some of that stock and paying capital gains tax, you go to a bank and say, "Hey, can I borrow a few $1 million against my Amazon shares?" The bank is more than happy to oblige because, well, you're Jeff Bezos. You get the cash you need without triggering a taxable event. It's like having your cake and eating it too. This strategy, often called buy, borrow, die, allows billionaires to live lavish lifestyles without ever having to report much income. They can use the borrowed money for anything they want: buying yachts, funding space missions, or just covering day-to-day expenses. And because loans aren't considered income, they don't owe any taxes on this money. Now, you might be thinking, but don't they have to pay back the loans eventually? Well, yes and no. They can often refinance these loans indefinitely, especially if their assets keep growing in value. And if they do need to sell some assets to pay off the loans, they can time these sales strategically to minimize their tax burden. But wait, there's more. When a billionaire passes away, their heirs inherit the assets at their current market value. This means any capital gains that accumulated during the billionaire's lifetime are wiped clean for tax purposes. It's a phenomenon known as the step-up in basis, and it's another way the ultra-wealthy avoid paying taxes. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's not fair. Why should billionaires get to play by different rules? And you're right, it doesn't seem fair. But remember, they're not breaking any laws. They're simply using the tax code to their advantage in ways that most of us can't. So, why don't billionaires want you to know about this? Well, if everyone knew and understood how the ultra-wealthy minimize their taxes, there might be more public pressure to change these laws. And that's the last thing they want. But here's the thing: even if we can't use this exact strategy, there are still lessons we can learn from it. The billionaire's approach teaches us the importance of thinking long-term, investing in assets that grow over time, and being strategic about when and how we realize gains. For the average person, this might mean maxing out your 401k contributions, investing in low-cost index funds, or considering real estate investments. While we may not be able to borrow millions against our assets, we can still focus on building wealth over time rather than just earning a higher salary. It's also a reminder of the importance of financial education. The more we understand about how money and taxes work, the better equipped we are to make smart financial decisions. Maybe we can't avoid taxes like billionaires do, but we can certainly learn to use the tax code to our advantage within legal and ethical bounds. Now, I'm not saying we should all aspire to be billionaires or that their tax strategies are morally right. That's a whole other debate. But understanding how the ultra-wealthy manage their money can give us valuable insights into the financial system and how we might be able to improve our own financial situations. Remember, personal finance is just that: personal. What works for a billionaire might not work for you, and that's okay. The key is to educate yourself, understand your options, and make the best decisions for your unique situation. So, the next time you hear about a billionaire paying little to no income tax, you'll know their secret. It's not about earning more. It's about structuring their wealth in a way that minimizes their tax burden. And while we may not be able to replicate their strategies exactly, we can certainly learn from their approach to building and preserving wealth. In the end, the most important thing is to take control of your own financial future. Whether you're working with hundreds of dollars or hundreds of millions, the principles of smart money management remain the same. Save, invest, think long-term, and always be on the lookout for ways to make your money work harder for you. And who knows, maybe one day, armed with this knowledge and a bit of luck, you might find yourself in the Billionaires Club too. Just remember us little people when you get there, okay? If you found this info helpful, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe for more money tips and tricks. Got any thoughts or questions? Drop them in the comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.